institution of learning about 12 miles from here, called Pocahontas State Correctional Center. In that, in that institution, folks, was bright minds and some great potential. The issue that surrounded them, they just had fallen a little short because they are incarcerated, but were still furthering their education. It took them to spend some time in what I call the think tank for them to realize how important education is. So I used the theme, just give me one more chance. And you see, there are some of us that do not carry that blemish of being incarcerated or spending time in the think tank, but had to ask for that one more chance as well. You see, there are teachers that did not pass the PPST and the National Teachers Exam the first time around. They had to ask for one more chance. There are CPAs that did not pass the CPA exam the first time around, and they had to ask for one more chance. There are nurses that did not pass the state board exam the first time around, and they had to ask for one more chance. There are attorneys that did not pass the bar exam the first time around, and they had to ask for one more chance. You see, I have read that one philosopher said that if at first you don't succeed, try and try again. Another philosopher said that if at first you don't succeed, you're running about average. Today, I personally know the journey to get to this level for some of these students has not been an easy path in reaching a milestone in their educational endeavors. This journey has called for dedication and sacrifices. Just to give you one example of a student in a couple of my classes that lived in North Carolina and had an infant child and had to drive into Bluefield to take her classes, basically what she would do was schedule her little one's feeding around the time when we would take breaks in class. She'll complete her baccalaureate degree, and she's here with us today. And I am so proud of her this day for her dedication and sacrifice. I'm not going to ask her to stand. I'm not going to put her on the spot. I know that there are other stories that could be shared with us this day, but only to mention just this one. Bluefield College has not only been a beacon in this community, but has assisted numerous students across the state of Virginia, as well as various other states, to graduate from college and move forward with their lives. Some of you will graduate today, summa cum laude, magna cum laude, and cum laude. I created a new category upon completing my baccalaureate degree. It was called O laude. It was O laude. Thank you for allowing me to graduate this day. The other part was, please don't let them come and pull me out of line because I owe a library book fine for an overdue book. You see, I'm not ashamed to share that I know what it's like being put on academic probation, as well as knowing what it's like to make the dean's list, making my parents happy, and being given one more chance to prove myself to be able to graduate with honors. I can remember I had to submit a transcript to Dr. Carrick, and it was almost like some of my students do with me. You know, we'll sit down and we'll talk about basically what they want to major in, and you know, they have these ideas and they want to go far with their education. And the thing that I tend to do is say, well, okay, let's pull your transcript out and look at it. It's almost as if I've asked them to bow their head and have prayer with me. Well, you see, I had to do that to Dr. Kerr when I had to bring my transcript to him. I brought my transcript to him, and I said, Dr. Kerr, now before you open this envelope, let me share something with you. I played football, okay? so I'm bowing my head and having prayer with you now. But graduates, you are blessed with incredible opportunities, but there are some lessons that come with it to remember. And remember these things. I believe sometimes when things are repeated twice, it must be something to it. And you heard Dr. Baskin say some of these things. Remember these things. To whom much is given, much is required. Remember that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Remember that the poor will be with you always. Remember that you are your brother's keeper. Remember, as you do it unto the least of them, you do it unto the master. Remember, he will supply all your needs according to his riches in glory. Remember to trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. Remember, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. Remember that the harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few. Graduates, you also have some other responsibilities to remember. Remember, you are responsible for the way you live your lives. College attracts students from all walks of life. Once you graduate today, you'll have your passport to opportunity. Just remember that the day of a person working at the same job for 20 or 30 years like in the past are slim and few. One researcher said today's average graduate may change careers 8 times. Another thing to remember, take risks. Don't be afraid to fail. It's not how many times